The panel here for coming up with all your questions and answers today. I want you to know that I'm getting up there in age, but I guess I'm not too old to learn. Do we have a ways to go? Yes, we do. But I have found out in life that if you keep on saying things are bad, even when things are good, you're going to say they're bad. I came back from Korea in the 50s, moved to Memphis, Tennessee. My wife was teaching school in New Canaan, Connecticut. We both moved to Memphis. I think everybody knows back then that there was white water fountains. There was a black water fountain. I think everybody knows I happened to be Catholic. I went to Catholic church. We went to communion, and the blacks stood up in the back, and we were all done. They could come down the side aisle and go to communion. Things have changed. Do we have a ways to go? Yes, we have a ways to go. And I don't think it's really a racial problem. Honestly, I don't. I really think we have a ways to go because we don't respect one another like we should. No matter what color you are, no matter what race you are, or anything else. Because, when I was a kid, my dad was from Italy. This is back in the 40s. We lived next to the railroad tracks. My brother and I, on the way home from school, they used to throw rocks at us and call us Mussolini. We got over this. These people were friends eventually. But we got over it by my dad thinking positive. He didn't go down and saying, look, they're picking on the Italians, and there weren't many Italians in my town. He didn't like Mussolini either. But he kept on trying to teach us the positive end that could result by being nice. I think instead of, and I try this to tell my grandchildren more though, so now, because I got more time, but just say, I'm sorry, please, thank you. Yes, I did make a mistake, and let's see if we can't solve that problem. But I'd like to walk out of here today and say, look we have a great police force. Do they make mistakes? Yes. We have a great group of teachers. Do they make mistakes? Yes. I think we have some great politicians. Are some of them bad? Yes. I think we have to work within our structure to make things better and not knock the good things. I think what happens when you get in a discussion like this, we only look at the bad things and we don't look at the good things. And let's say, I've been around this world. I've been to every country almost. I can tell you what, when I land on a plane and I'm back in the United States, I am happy. So I think we have to take the positive part of the United States, especially Connecticut, and let's go up from there. Do we have problems? Yes, we do. Let's try to solve them. But thank you once again, panel. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
Hold on, please. Senator Larson has
just sort of a directional piece, if I will. I see an awful lot of legislators joining us now. Alan, I was hoping we've probably got about another half hour left in this room. If we might allow some of the legislators to make a comment, a brief comment, so that in fact everybody could have an opportunity to get something out, and maybe then turn it back to your panel for just a sort of a wrap up. So I'll defer to Senator Winfield as well.
Okay,
so
Senator Winfield.
Just finish up in that manner. Then that way, I think everybody will have an opportunity to go through a question and let the panel wrap up.
That's fine. Thank you. Senator Winfield?
Yes, thank you. So I've heard part of what the panel had to say. I didn't hear everything, and I've heard most of the discussion subsequent to the panel. And as I sit here, I think about the way that we think about a lot of issues. It's 2015, and I'm relatively young for this building. I'm 41. But I've spent a life of having people tell me about what I've seen not being the reality. And with all due respect to what I just heard, the reality for white people is not the reality for people of color in this country. And so for white people to tell me that what I am looking at with my eyes is not real and I need to focus on what they see just doesn't make a lot of sense, because I don't get to live the life that they live, because I walk out in the minute I'm born into this brown skin, and it has real meaning in this country. As I think about what we talk about, I made the same point that Senator Coleman made at the hearing about the opposition that the police chiefs come here with. And we all make a choice when we testify how we're going to testify. There could be a choice made that we don't like it because it is actually detrimental to what we do, but here's how we could do what we need to do, and you could represent your constituents by making these changes, because that's where we wind up after the fight. But that's not what happens when the police chiefs come here. They come here and say no. They don't have to come here and say no. They could come here and say, here's a better way. And so I recognize, because I look at people as I speak, and I know I've been one of the people who's been right out front on all of these issues of oversight of police. So I pay attention, particularly to police, as I'm speaking. And I watch the body language as well. And I know they get upset. And what's curious to me about that is, never in the history of my time being here have I ever suggested that police as a whole are bad. As a matter of fact, I've gone out of my way to say the opposite. And when you talk about oversight, meaning you want to get the guys who are bad, all of the police, darn near, seem to react the same way to what we're saying. And it would seem to me that if I were one of the good guys, which I think is the majority, I'd want to find a way to help people like myself get those guys. And so if we want to talk about something positive that can be done, the conversations could happen a different way. It could be we both come to this and say, how do we work together? We started with the bill. Anybody who's been in this building knows the bill that starts is not likely to be the bill that ends. That's the beginning of the conversation. So when I've started the conversation, yes, maybe you don't like the way the conversation started, but join the conversation. Don't oppose the conversation. And
Oh, sorry. Thought you were done.
I'm almost done.
No.
And just take a little time to recognize that even those things we see as positive, for some of us aren't positive. East Haven, people for years, you could have asked any of us, brown people, whether it be Latino or black, about East Haven. And when we were saying the things we were saying about East Haven, as much anecdotal evidence and some stronger evidence than anecdotal that existed, people would have told us we were out of our mind. And we know that in this room. And yet we look at East Haven now after people got busted for doing the things they were always doing, and we say, well, now that they got busted and we have the consent decree and we're doing some positive things, that's a positive. All that is, to me, is an example of what's wrong. An example of when people of a certain color say something, because we said it's not about race. Well, it sure seems to be to me. When people of a certain color express the realities that they experience, they can be discounted. And that is a problem. Thank you.
All right. Representative